Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran, and in today's video, we'll be taking a look at some of the updates for patch 9.1 PTR, which came as a bit of a surprise. The fact that Blizzard even released an update for 9.1 with TBC in full swing. We were pretty sure that this week Blizzard was going to do nothing when it comes to Shadowlands, just to make sure that the hype for TBC is in full swing. But looks like we got a substantial update for some of the changes for our classes, legendaries, as well as a few changes to our gear. For class changes, we have some buffs and nerfs. Not super back to the point where some of those nerfs are completely erased, but Blizzard generally toning back on some of the initial nerfs that might have added earlier into the game. So let's take a look at everything that is available right now on patch 9.1 PTR. First things first, we got a variety of different updates with gear. The gear from the new raid, at least on normal item level, is available for testing, as well as the shards, which are kind of like the new sockets added into the new tier sets, and tier set bonuses depending on the shards you run. The general concept of this is certain gear in the new raid will have sockets where you'll put in an extra special gem that only a specific item can go into. These are called shards. You'll be able to get the currency to buy whatever shards you want and even upgrade them from doing the raid. So this is supposed to be more or less raid gear, and it might have some small potential or maybe major potential when it comes to mythic pluses and raids that is still yet to be found out. But if you have 3 of one type of shards, purple, blue, or red, you actually unlock a 3-piece bonus, a tier set bonus in a sense. So this is finally the tier set bonuses first added, with Blizzard including certain pieces from the raid that'll have those specific sockets. That means they gotta shift legendaries around in case, let's say, you're running a helmet, shoulder, chest piece, legs, feet, and now you have to get a socket from the new raid and you have to replace the slot where that legendary goes into. Blizzard added more options for some of those legendaries, so you're not completely stuck into only 2 choices. Some of them are gonna have 3 in order to account for people trying to get the new gear from the new raid to unlock these powerful bonuses. For Death Knights, we're seeing a bit of an unnerf. AntiMagic Zone is now back down to a 2-minute CD instead of a 3-minute CD. Its duration is lowered down to an 8-second duration, but it'll now fade after absorbing a much larger pool of damage before dissipating. Particularly good for Frost Death Knights and Unholy. This still will keep AntiMagic Zone as a nerfed version going into 9.1, but it doesn't completely remove the utilitarian aspects of this raid utility. However, Blizzard is still focused on retaining and lowering the strength of this cooldown for group content. Next, we have an update for Druids. First of all, Well-Honed Instincts Conduit has been reduced. Its cooldown increased by 50% for all ranks, so getting that extra defensive from time to time as an emergency heal will not be as easy. We also saw small buffs to Leader of the Pack, as well as Starburst to be more consistent, and I'm really wondering how Starburst will play out in large open fields as well as arenas, and I wonder if it will be possible to create opportunities for your team to have a bunch of knockbacks with these Starburst honor talent. Monks got a few changes, and one of them does look like a buff for Brewmaster with Brewmaster's Balance, where it says stamina increased by 30, but apparently after some confirmation, that's not a new buff. They're just adding that as part of the tooltip. Monks always had a 30 stamina buff anyway. So this looks like a buff, but it actually isn't. However, Mist River, there are some redesigns for Dematerialize, Refreshing Breeze, and Thunder Focus Tea for PvP, mostly to keep it still strong and effective rather than a nerf. It looks like Blizzard had to separate the Wind Fury rank 2 buff for enhancement shamans because there was a bug that people found where the basic Wind Fury wasn't applying to the weapons properly. It's only working off of main hands for dual wield classes, and there's still some weirdness about this ability, but it looks like they're trying to solve it little by little on PTR, and hopefully whenever this patch comes out, we'll make Wind Fury Totem more consistent when it comes to applying buffs for your allies, though I don't think it's going to be enough to make it super good to make enhancement a mandatory spec to bring to the game just yet, although I would love to see it someday. Warlock saw quite a bit of math change on a few abilities, and overall I was able to go on live and PTR to see the biggest differences. Corruption has been buffed, so the ability for that damage is going to be a little higher. Take a look at Malefic Rapture. At first it's hard to tell if it's actually a buff or not, but comparing it to live, it does look like Malefic Rapture has slightly more damage compared to live on the PTR 9.1 servers. So it makes me wonder, with the initial nerfs for 9.1 for Malefic Rapture, how is this going to work out for this ability, as it looks like Blizzard is trying to give a little bit more leeway for Affliction Warlocks as time goes on. For demonology, we saw a change with Soul Strike. Also, I was pretty confused in the math behind it because now it looks like there's a lot of ones in there, but it does amount for a sizable buff for its damage. Looks like the ability for Fel Lord, and this was tested by my boy Kreiser, has been buffed in damage. We also have abilities like Incinerate, costing slightly less mana. Same thing goes for the ability of Shadow Bolt. And it looks like Warlocks are actually getting some new conduits added in the game. Adaptive Armor Fragment allows you, when healed by another player, to increase your primary stat for 15 seconds. Can occur once every 30 seconds, which is very interesting and does implore some group gameplay. I'm actually very surprised that it's given them primary stats. That's actually very interesting. It looks like a conduit, maybe it's just something in the works that was data mined, but not confirmed. You also have Condensed Animosphere, another endurance conduit. Another data mine, again, could maybe knock him out in the end, but whenever you take damage you heal for, a portion of your maximum health can only occur once every 10 seconds, which will give a Warlock slight bit extra passive healing. They also buff the damage on Catastrophic Origin if you do end up playing Venthyr to do more damage, but I don't think that's going to be enough to make the ability super good all of a sudden. But that's going to be some of the Warlock changes, and it looks like these guys got significant updates. Then we have Warrior. For Warrior, we mostly got PvP changes. Like Warbringer for Arms Warrior is now going to have damage attached to the actual charge. And the charge has a cone and can cleave, which I think will make it a very interesting ability for a little bit of that aggressive AoE output, especially when you charge right into an enemy team. For Fury Warrior, we're seeing a slight change to Slaughterhouse, which overall will be a nerf, but I don't think it'll be the worst nerf ever. Rampage damage reduces the healing the target receives by, and this is the biggest change, from 15% for 5 seconds, stacking up to 4 times. So you were looking at a 5-second duration of 60% Mortal Strike effect, down to 5%, 8-second duration, stacking up to 8 times, which overall will mean 40% Mortal Strike effect that lasts 8 seconds. I still believe this is a better on a talent than any of the other ones that For Your Warrior has had, because a 40% Mortal Strike effect is still quite a bit of pressure compared to a 20 or a 30, which a lot of the classes are in the 20-25 ballpark, so you're still ahead. And they also made it so you can maintain it a lot easier as long as you're being super aggressive with your rampages. I still think this is a pretty strong Ana talent, and I could totally foresee people still having a hard time trying to peel the Fury Warrior off of their backs. But that's going to be my update on everything we have so far for patch 9.1. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below on everything we've talked to so far. Do you think some of these things are looking good? Do you think some of these nerfs are maybe too far? Do you feel like some of these buffs probably should have just went further and buffed those abilities even more? It's also worth mentioning that some of these recent updates have been more surgical in very specific fields, where Blizzard is trying to adjust items, adjust abilities in very, very small ways, as to not really make too many ripples, which could potentially indicate that 9.1 could be around the corner very, very, very soon. The smaller these updates become, the more likely we are to go to a full-on release. As to when that'll happen, for now we still don't have a confirmed date, but hopefully it'll happen very, very soon. I'm actually very excited for patch 9.1, and a lot of these changes are looking interesting in my opinion. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hit me up on Discord if you want to. Link to that as well down below. We have a great community over there. But thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see all of you guys in another video.